we're going to be talking about the people who are up right now. We have SuperGirlKels.
Ooh, you know her, you love her. One of the premier Sonics of 4 and this game as well. You know, stick and true to her tried and true main. Despite periodic little nerf here and there from this previous game to the last one. But I mean, hey, she is definitely a character loyalist to the end. Still also playing Kirby as well as a secondary.
Yeah, and speaking of loyal to the characters, kind of canon, you got Navi playing Young Link. Please don't make that sound effect of that character, please.
I'm not going to say anything.
But this is going to be definitely a wall-out chase-down game. You're going to see Navi trying to play the game back, wants SuperGirlKels to approach as much as possible. SGK, though, has always been really good at playing the mid-range boxing game. She wants to slowly come in on you and just get max damage the moment she can, and then back off when it's not a good situation. Navi's got to deal with that.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how she gets her... Oh, my goodness, trying to end it all right there with the back air right there. And the forward smash, good drift from Kingx, move right in behind. But it's going to be really interesting seeing how, like, SGK gets in, because the changes to spin dash do make it a little bit harder for Sonic to be able to get in with that move and a little more committal. The move still does go through shields, but only if she fully charges it to a certain extent. You'll see when the spin dash actually starts to turn a little bit yellow, that is when the move starts to be fully charged, when you cannot cancel the spin dash, and that is when the move starts to go through shield.
It's been kind of been invalidated. So it's been a little invalidated so far because of the fact that Navi's been doing a good job of walling her out. Like, this is the big key. He has to keep her from playing her game, and she's actually going to opt to go high, trying to read potentially an early jump. The fair's not going to connect on the second hit that could have led to a potential stock. And I like the fact that Navi just backed off and trying to reset the situation. Landing with the dare is not going to get hit, and she did not punish him either.
Keep in mind, this is a loser's match, ladies and gentlemen. The loser of this match will be out of the tournament and not moving on to the echelons of this bracket, so both of these players definitely really want it right there. But Kingx apparently wanting it just a little more right now, taking that first stock.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is go down at this point right here. Both of them have been clawing their way to victory to try and get themselves up. SGK going down to Dark Matter, and Schultz going to go down and get that backer on his stock to Navi. Navi had a decent portion of a lead there, but he didn't really get a situation where he could back her off.
Ooh, can we talk about that gorgeous little string on the platform right there to get all that damage? Already before 61, now 74.4%.
The fact that you could combo out of up B is ridiculous. And like you just said, 0 to 70 and 0 to 98 really unanswered. Like, this is a bad situation for her. She has to try and find a way to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kingx right now with the full charge in the neutral. Okay, no. What I was about to say is that this man has to start forcing his advantage, throwing the projectiles in such a way to make SuperGirlKels' approach harder for her than it already even has to be. With the, oh my god, with the boomerang actually shield poking.
Yeah, boomerang actually allowing him to get the confirm off of there because of the fact that she held shield waiting for it to come in and it actually interrupt. I actually really like his movement, as well as his non-overcommitment. He's really realizing that, okay, she can't open me up. I'm just going to play around shield. I'm going to be safe, not getting punished hard for the up smash, but she has to change up her mix-up game, maybe a little bit different on the angles that she's approaching him on.
Yeah, and this is where playing behind against a young Link can get really, really annoying if you're the kind of player to get easily tilted. This is where you have to sit back, relax, breathe, understand what this character does. And unfortunately, what sometimes some people do is self-destruct. That is a huge lead.
Yeah, she took her hat off with that.
Suddenly thrown away.
Took the hat off like, you know what? This is my opportunity. I can't let this get away from me. Like, if you're going to give me a charity stock, you're going to let me get an opening, I need to capitalize. However, even with that SD, Navi's really not leaving any space for her to work with.
Yeah, Kingx is definitely, he's still in a good position to force his advantage right now, you know, like he's just throwing his projectiles the way he has to. He doesn't have to approach, he has to make SuperGirlKels approach, which is already, you know, with the projectiles, if he places them properly, going to be a little bit harder for her than it can anticipate to be.
I'm going to pretend that I knew his name was Kingx this whole time, so...
Oh, I knew you were messing up. I wasn't going to say nothing. It's all good.
It's all good. All right, so she catches him at the ledge, forcing him down low, actually rips the jump, but he didn't get dragged down too far. Now getting with the back air on the jump rate too, she's turning it up and doesn't get to 2-frame with the F smash. Very scary situation for Kingx.
He's going to use that long tether grab to be able to grab SuperGirlKels safely from afar. She will get grabbed by it and just covering the platform with the neutral air, but the situation reset once again. SGK approaching with the spin dash, and a missed tech is not going to matter. That up B actually goes a relatively far distance, and not a strong punish from SuperGirlKels either.
I actually like what he did there. He did the B reverse neutral B. Well, not so much the B reverse, just turned it around. That way he can get her going deep and potentially do the up B the other way, realizing she wasn't going to, recovering a little early to get himself back up. This is an extremely intense match here, game 1 so far.
Yeah, any of the smash attacks will kill right now as SGK actually bringing that back from the depths of hell right now. Spin dash into the up air. The Sonic the Hedgehog classic, saying it's a piece of cake, holding that Chaos Emerald for the fans.
And that was the situation.
For that new movie coming out pretty soon.
Oh, no. God, no. Let's not. Oh, God, I'm not watching that movie. Like, every movie that I've ever seen that looks like that beforehand, we're talking Last Airbender, Spider-Man 3, and Fantastic Fail. I am staying far away from that movie.
Night Shyamalama Ding Dong. SuperGirlKels clutching that out, actually, fighting from behind right there, taking that first game over Kingx, who was looking to get a pretty solid lead there, but unfortunately for him, he is going to lose that game right there. SGK bans Town and City.
I agree with that. The fact that you know, for one, you're losing kill potential off the top. You don't want to have your up airs not kill as early. And the fact that the FD layout is going to play a little bit better to his positioning. It was obvious that he had much better gameplay when it came to forcing the approach. And that is really the whole reason why she came back was because of that SD, and she didn't let that get away from her. But then again, you never know, she might have been able to close it out. She looked a lot better that game 3, might have found an opening in his play. We'll see if she can adapt to that and continue to do that in game 2.
Yeah, speaking of adapting, though, oh, never mind, he switched back, actually. He was hovering over Pit, Pit, who is Kingx's relatively new secondary, but an already skilled secondary to say the least. But now, apparently, for SGK, she is not going to have to adapt to that. You know, all she will have to adapt to even further is this same matchup that she was playing before, you know, so a little bit good on her, perhaps a little bit of a sigh of relief right there. Kingx, on the other hand, staying tried and true to his main.
I heavily agree with the fact that he decided to stick it out. It's not like that matchup was like out of range. It was last hit, and you know, you got a lot of people who get antsy and they want to change off when it was that close. Like, you know what, maybe they figured something out because she ran it back on me. No, like, stay confident in your options, and he's doing a good job again of keeping her at the ledge. She didn't take nearly as much damage so far. It seems like she's starting to get a hold of his projectile mix-ups, but if he can continue to keep her at the ledge the way he was doing the last game, this should be a very big reverse of tempo here.
And it's the mark of a good player to recognize when the problem was not the character you're playing, but rather the way you were playing the matchup, or perhaps the stage you were not comfortable with. Like you said earlier, so many players just elect to go immediately like to their secondaries when they lose a first game, thinking, oh, well, must be the character, must be the matchup. There was nothing I was doing wrong. But Kingx, good to recognize that he wants to stay with his main right here. The character that he is definitely more skilled with, was recognizing some of his problems, taking it to Battlefield. Stage where perhaps he might be able to juggle SuperGirlKels a little bit more if that's his plan. Hopefully, like with his item placement, he might be able to like lock down some of these platforms and like make her landing options and some of her approach options actually a little bit harder. But with these platforms, you never know, man. You might get spring
I think taking away a bit of her,
kill him off the top.
I think it taking away a bit of her kill potential doesn't matter though, because he ducked off stage. I do like the fact that he decided to commit off stage. He hasn't really done it so far, but she was prepared for that. Catch him with that back air and actually stealing away the lead there.
Boomerang on the way back, just tacking a little bit of damage, keeping SGK by the ledge. Kingx trying to capitalize, but he's going to lose neutral to that spin dash once again, which I can't help but feel like he hasn't really been like punishing like too hard for the most part. I mean, the thing with Sonic spin dash in this game is that if she fully charges it, that's a committal. You know, like you can't cancel that anymore. So the idea with that is that same thing just in the prior games. You have to shield, wait to see where SuperGirlKels is going to go, and try to punish that accordingly.
And where she's going is deep off stage. Going to catch him. You know, there was a lot of situations he kept trying to open her up, and now she's seemed like you said, he's not really punishing the side Bs like he was in game 1. There was a lot of times where she would go in and he had to answer already for it, and he just dug super deep, and luckily for him, he gets hit against the ledge instead, because he might have SD'd there if she didn't get him with that hit.
Yeah, Young Link with that very long recovery does not have to tech, but unfortunately you cannot tech the air, and that will be a self-destruct to close out the set for Kingx. SGK taking it 2-0.
When your opponent gives you a second lease on life, when they give you an opportunity to make it back after you almost SD'd before, you don't go give it back to him. You don't go run back off stage and give it to him again. But that was also a stressful situation because